Um, but of course, this year going on the way it has gone on. Not this year, sorry, 2020, my bad. I guess they just kind of had to do what they had to do with storylines they had. Which storyline do you think was best, and which one was the worst for McIntyre?
For McIntyre?
Yeah, one each. They can't give a line. You can't give a list. Just say one each. Which one's best and which one's worst for 2020 title run?
Man, I'm having a hard time picturing who it was against, but there's one that I really liked. Man, this is gonna bug me. Who did he face? He had a storyline with someone like 2 months after WrestleMania, and I'm completely blanking on who it was against.
Wasn't that with? I'm not mistaken. Wasn't that with Ziggler?
I like the Ziggler.
Oh, okay. After he won the title, he had that feud, Angel Garza and.
Yes, thank you. And I could picture them, but I couldn't remember who you're talking about. Yeah, the group with Zelina Vega. That one I liked.
That one I didn't like. I just thought it was stupid, my opinion, and I just thought it was like he looked more like a bully in my own view. Like, why are they doing this? Why I just didn't. Big guy going after two guys that didn't make any sense for the story. I know one thing we're gonna go ahead. Well, now give me your worst, because I know we're gonna see another one.
Well, I was gonna say the Dolph Ziggler one wasn't bad. It just kind of felt like a stepping stone. The worst.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't like the fact that he tag teamed with Sheamus, but I kind of feel like that was either it's got to be a tie between tag team with Sheamus and the matches he had with Keith Lee. I didn't like those.
Okay, I mean Keith Lee. Okay.
I like Keith Lee as a talent, but I didn't see value in the storyline.
Okay. Well, I mean, that was something that was. Well, no, it was a highlight, but it was something that was entertaining enough. I thought, two athletic guys going at it pretty well. Mm-hmm. Mine, since you mentioned it too, Andrade and Garza probably was the one I didn't like. I didn't like at all. That's one it's hard to pick. The build up and the win at WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar was I thought was really good. However, if I have to go with saying the best, we're going to Siri on this one, him and Orton.
Well, okay, so I thought about Orton and I had mixed feelings on it. I think the first couple matches were good, but after that, I was completely done with it. I got tired of seeing it. It was after I forgot which one it took place, but they had the ambulance match.
Yeah,
that was like, okay, that should be that should be it.
I thought it was going to be it too.
It wasn't.
I stuck in. I was emotionally involved with how well they carried themselves and how much they fought. I don't know. I was just so involved with it, and it just where I still was okay. If this is going to continue, I'm cool with it. Just gives them something to do, and it at least shows some good psychology, gives some good fighting in that. So that's why I was like, okay, I'm not sour. They're going to continue with it. That's how I felt, but. That's my pick for that stuff. I understand a certain illness like we were talking about towards the Sheamus stuff. I mean, I kind of get it, but it's to where it's eventually are you gonna see Sheamus turn really turn like you're gonna turn on his buddy, or is he gonna be gracious? But Sheamus' character is not known necessarily to be gracious, so. That was kind of fair idea on my side.
No, I get it. And here's something sad. Randy Orton holds both, like he has, for my opinion of 2020, he has the two that matches or two feuds, if you will, where it's like, okay, you got a good match out of here, but you guys kept going way longer than it should. Yeah. And it was with Drew and it was with Edge.
Yeah,
I don't even know if I should really blame that on Randy because I remember the Christian stuff that he did with Christian years ago, and I really enjoyed the Christian feud. Yeah. It just seemed like this year it was over and done over repeatedly, or they kept a feud going that was pretty much dead, and it just wore me down.
For Orton, I must say, I don't know. I can't remember all the worst ones he had, but I don't think he really had any worse this year, honestly. If I had to pick up what was the best of that, to say between him and Edge. Second would be him and Drew, at least on his side of things. Yeah, him and Edge tore the house down. Yeah. What do you think about their match being called the greatest wrestling match ever, though?
It was not the greatest wrestling match ever.
I looked at that being the dub, the title, the dub, the naming of the title of the pay-per-view basically had been dubbed that, or however you want to word that. I was like, this is too much of a, I would say, burden. I would say too much shoes to fill in that position. Just called the greatest wrestling match ever. So I don't think that was a great idea to say that. And I was like, okay, that's just too much weight on too many shoulders for one or two. You're going to call it that. It's just, no. It shouldn't have been called that. Because you have too many matches all across a huge amount of history. And just, I was like, this is going to be rough. But I saw that a good match, really was. I liked the one they had the Harry Finkel the moment, that old time microphone dropping down like it did back in the old days at the Garden. But other than that, it's cool.
And you gotta give him credit for being able to get it called wrestling with Vince, because Vince does not dig calling everything's wrestling.
He don't, but I've seen some changes with that, and or say over the past year.
2 belts.
Huh?
And the whole allowing Becky 2 belts.
Becky 2 belts.
Yeah, he doesn't like calling titles belts. So the fact that she's able to get called Becky 2 belts.
Yeah.
Sasha 2 straps. It was kind of like...
Yeah. I'm surprised they started using the word wrestling a little more now. I'm glad they didn't want to use that for the longest time. And it's interesting. You don't ever hear the words for how long it's been. You don't ever hear this here being called World Wrestling Entertainment. I think it's like, y'all are a wrestling company. It's okay to be called World Wrestling Entertainment, just saying, hey, I'm the World Wrestling Entertainment champion. But that, they just call it WWE, which, whatever.
It's a weird thing with even like calling, they don't even call their fan base fans. They call it the universe. So,
yeah,
it's like,
try to make it bigger. I mean, I'm not, I get if you're on the Vince's shoes, try and make it bigger. I'm not trying to sound negative towards it, but, I just feel like, we're fans. That's it. We're the most important part of the business. We are. But it's I'm
not even mad at Vince for targeting. This is going to sound really bad, but you know what I mean. By targeting children as their base for portions of their show, and then have more adult content later. Because I mean, this is something that Disney has done for years, and this is something in the video game realm that Nintendo's done for years. You get people when they're young. Make lifetime fans to where you have a constant rolling stream of revenue.
Yeah,
but
I don't see any problem with that. What happened to more of a children's, kids, something given to kids too. You got to have that. I mean, that's the bottom line. I don't like it when they, like when you look back at many years ago, they had 1 hour where I was not as bad, and the later hour when kids are supposed to be in bed, they did things that were not kid friendly. So
that's my point. Like with doing Raw, they could do it from 8 to 10 of being PG, and then from 10 to 11 just PG-14.
Yeah,
TV-14 or whatever it's called.
Oh, I hear you. Of course, if you say that, we're gonna give people, we need the Attitude Era back. We're not getting the Attitude Era. Now you saying that, you said that, but saying we get how that, but you hear that enough.
Yeah. But, you get the Attitude Era in AEW. That's what you got.
That's not even it's just more
edgy.
There you go. That's the word I'm trying to find.
So again with this year, so it's funny. This is going to sound like two negatives here. Another feud that
we'll get positive here soon.
Yeah, another feud that went way longer than it should have is the Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio and that whole thing at Extreme Rules, the horror show at Extreme Rules with the prosthetic eye coming out.
Yeah.
This year, and I get it, they had limited staff, and I understand that. But you can mix it up a little bit instead of having Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio 20 times.
You know, honestly, I enjoyed the feud for a while, even when probably about like a month after you got tired of it. It was okay, I'm still invested. You know, it got to where I understand it's like you see the same exact thing every week. And I know like,
right.
You're limited on talent because of the situation. Even if whether we agree or not agree on that situation, you know, our listeners and us or whatnot. But more or less, when you overdo it each and every week, it's like, okay, what else we get? You know, come on, give me something else. It's the same things over and over. It's where it gets like, where you get your viewers kind of turned away. But yeah, I thought it went good for a while, and then it just kind of like, okay, this is probably about a month or so after is where I think you got a little bit drowned out with it. I'm so invested. And after that, I was like, okay, we're like, where we at now? I don't get it. Now we have a love angle inside of this thing, which it's, you know, eventually the fumes kind of died off and spark went away. So, but at least in the storyline, yeah, that eye match, it was just that eye poking. I just said that was the match itself wasn't bad. Just more or less that moment. It just it didn't make for great TV. Honestly, the whole
didn't
how the eye came out wasn't even good. Him losing, Rey Mysterio losing. Of course, I guess the rumor was that he didn't sign new contracts. That's why he lost. I'm like, you know, the whole thing was just bad in my viewpoint. But actually, my nephew watched. They did the replay on that like the next night. I think it was the next night. Definitely was not for a kid's eye to watch. Kids view, it was not kid friendly. You know, he got scared a little bit. I was like, it's just TV, buddy. But yeah, I just didn't think it was very desirable. Just didn't need it. We didn't need that kind of match. We didn't need that moment.
Yeah, and it's not a dig at Rollins because I actually dug the Monday Night Messiah character, and I actually think his match with Kevin Owens at WrestleMania was actually a good one.
Oh yeah.
There's certain people that could do well with no crowds. I think Owens is one of them. I just think that whole setup and the whole stairs and things like that and trying to poke out each other's eye, it was too much. It was too hokey at that point.
Absolutely.
And in this past WrestleMania, we saw two. Well, it was 2 nights, but on separate nights they had 2 cinematic matches. They had the Boneyard match with AJ, Undertaker, and the Good Brothers. And then they had the Firefly Funhouse match with Fiend and Cena. Those are 2 very opposite cinematic matches. But they're in their own right, they were interesting.
I was definitely more invested with Taker and AJ. I mean, Cena and Fiend was good in its own way. I wasn't a big fan of the Firefly Funhouse matches we talked about in the past, but I understood parts of it. I did. Just an overall was not a big fan of it. But they had interesting situation, to say the least, for that WrestleMania. So they had to do something in different locations. So I guess that's what they felt like they could have done. So they did it, and I still believe they could have put at least wrestlers inside, like fans, like they did later on. As we've seen, but having nobody there, that was made a weird WrestleMania, weird moment, weird time. But yeah, they could have put, like I said, your development wrestlers at ringside at least.
Yeah. And I mean, different kind of feel, but I dug it for different reasons, and